was your best high school teacher and why? This wasn't my best high school teacher, but my high school honors chemistry teacher Mr. Chen hated me. He'd never liked me. He purposely failed my test just because I got 50% of the questions wrong, and he discriminates against people who don't study like me. In fact, he once said no to letting me use the restroom, telling me to wait until he finished giving out instructions. I have a small bladder. It had been 3 whole minutes since the last time I went, and just because I often spend 20 minutes in the bathroom doesn't mean I will this time. Now these are all minor violations, but this time he'd crossed the line. It was just another class as usual, and he'd asked a question. I'd been working up the courage to raise my hand to answer a question for the last few minutes, and this time I'd finally built it up to raise my hand. To my utter shock and disgust, Mr. Chen called on the quiet kid. Come on, that kid never raises his hand. I knew I couldn't let this go. This had gone too far. Many of the adults I talked to told me to just let it go because it wasn't a big deal, but they didn't understand just how bad and far this went. Luckily, my imaginary counselor friend Mr. Rodriguez believed me and told me to start documenting everything. So I did every failed test that I didn't study for, every time I'd been reprimanded for spending too long in the bathroom, every deducted late point on the little homework I did. A few days later, we hit gold. Mr. Rodriguez talked to some other parents who'd reported Mr. Chen for sexual assault but were ultimately ignored by the higher-ups, dismissed for being troublesome high school students wearing a fake mustache. These were extremely serious allegations that needed to be taken seriously, and the administration was turning a blind eye just based on looks. We gathered the witness statements and stored them in a file. After hiring a lawyer, we finally went in and sued Mr. Chen. Weeks of preparation all led up to this moment. Several grueling hours of delivering evidence passed, and we all held our breath as we awaited the final verdict. The defendant is found. The room went silent. Guilty on all accounts, with a penalty of death sentence. I stare into his eyes as they flared with anger then dimmed with surrender, knowing he couldn't fight his fate. He looked up at me with sorrow and weariness, as if asking for forgiveness. I turned and walked away. Some bridges are meant to burn.